exciting breakaways that went in the early stages of the race before we even had live coverage. We've been so spoiled with the live coverage for the Flanders Classics races that when we only got like 33K against our goal, it was pretty disappointing. But you can't win them all, right? So there was a really impressive break that went, penultimate lap of the Calvert that included Spratty, which was really exciting to see her up the road. Sure, we'll get into that. Paulina Roerkes of Amsterdam, who's new to the team, and we've not seen a ton from her yet, but exciting to see her up the road. And Arlena Sierra, yet again, on a stellar ride. The three of them rode together until the Dummelerberg, where SD Works really brought it back together, and then we had like a bunch of attacks on the Dummelerberg with Neve Fisher-Black during the first one, Marlene Russo with the second one. Over the top of that, Victoria Wheelman went on a solo mission and was brought back just at the base of the Calberg, where the predictable Annemiek van Vleuten attack went. She was followed by 6 other riders. The 7 of them came over the top of the climb together and then kind of all stalled and looked at each other. And that was when Marta Cavalli attacked solo. Just impeccable timing from Marta Cavalli, and rode solo to the finish. Behind her, we had Ashley Lampasio, Demi Vollering, Mavi Garcia, Annemiek van Vleuten, Kasia Niewiadoma, and Leanne Lippert, which was a great ride from her as well. So that was the race, as far as I can remember it. And second place was Demi Vollering again for the second year in a row, with Leanne Lippert taking third. It was like almost a photo finish between 4 people for the podium. And yes.
Where do we start?
That wasn't as pretty as my win was that I got.
That was still that was well done.
I can't even remember what I had for breakfast yesterday, let alone that entire thing.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I don't think you missed much.
No.
It's so frustrating because I can't learn languages, but I can remember the lyrics to every single Taylor Swift song, and I can recall races like the drop of a hat.
Right. Everyone's got their own.
So, yeah.
Also, so the break that happened before the Eurosport / DCM coverage, because there was coverage on Dutch TV, which maybe shouldn't announce that I was watching with the DCM there in Belgium next week. It was full of like all the favourites, like Annemiek was in there, Cassie's in there, Marlene Russo's in there, like, and that Anna Henderson. I think there was tons of people in it, and just adding that in there, just showing off moving details, I guess.
That was a super impressive break. That was a break that, I mean, 2 years ago, that break would have been like race over, because it was full of all of the favorites. Basically everyone I mentioned in my preview was in that.
So who chased it back then? Sorry, I missed that part of the...
UAE.
They chased it back.
UAE, but also, I think it was also a little bit of no cooperation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Way too many strong riders in one move and all looking at each other, kind of. Because at one point Van Dijk got frustrated and attacked the break, and they just like chased her down, and then everyone shot up, kind of thing.
Well, poor Anna Henderson was in like multiple breaks and was getting like really pissed off with everybody, like no one was coming through, like you could see her like gesturing and just visibly annoyed that no one was willing to keep it going.
Yeah, it could have been a good opportunity, for her to get a result.
I think that's why.
The size of the group that came into the last stage of the Calberg was pretty big. So it goes, I was texting with someone in Australia, and we were just going back to that old conversation of just the sheer depth of the field now, and the amount of numbers that we're having in this finale. I don't know how far, do we want to start with the breaks, or do we want to break down what happened in the last 3-4 kilometres? Because I saw a massive, I think we texted about it, missed opportunity. I thought Moolman looked super comfortable on that climb. And I was screaming at the television when they had that moment of hesitation, which always seems to happen just as like people crest that climb, and we've seen it time and time again. I was going, whack it! Someone, whack it! And then just as Norman looked the wrong direction, Cavalli was gone, and it was just too late.
I think this was such an interesting moment, hands down for me, the most interesting moment of the entire race, because there was so many factors at play in before and after that one attack that really helped Cavalli ride away to the finish. Like, we had Annemiek van Vleuten going full gas on the climb, and only 6 other people could keep up with her, which I think we touched on it last week and we can talk about it again, that she just can't ride away from people on these short climbs anymore. So we had that effort by Annemiek van Vleuten, that once they got to the top, everybody was in the hurt locker, but still hanging on, and Cavalli was able to take that moment and they all sat up. I mean, they like fanned across the road, all of them. And she was able to read that moment and take advantage of it. But you're right, Lauren, the second that she attacked was, she chose her moment perfectly, but there was an element of luck involved, because right when she started going, Ashley was looking the wrong way, then Demi hopped on her radio telling her to follow it, but I feel like that distracted Ashley more than it told her to follow it, because then she didn't react fast enough. No one could react fast enough. And that's when Cavalli got a little bit of space, and then when they all kind of started to line up to chase her down, there was a moment when Ash was flicking her elbow and Annemiek was sitting right behind her, and Annemiek wouldn't pull through. So for the entire 1.7 kilometers to the finish, the only person in the wind was Ashley. Nobody else was helping her pull, because Vollering was in that group. And they all knew that Vollering was going to probably sprint for the win. So it was such an incredible, like, bike racing 101 moment where Cavalli just read the race so well, and it worked out.
I mean, what should have happened is, again, I thought Ashley was good. Maybe she was feeling it in her legs, but she looked great. She should have been the one who had had that moment of hesitation, because then Demi would have just had a free ride, like as other riders tried to pull, try to pull her back or chase after her, essentially. So it could have worked in that way. But yeah, I don't know. It was all in, obviously, for Demi at that moment when they crested with two.
I think Cavalli was in first position in the group. She was last wheel, so nobody saw her coming. And Ash was like second wheel at that point.
She was looking the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She also, she started the climb way too far back. Like, watching her go up the climb, she really had to put in huge effort to get up to that group.
She said that in the interview after the race, yeah.
Cavalli said the hardest part of the entire race for her was actually the positioning into the final climb, because it was so fast. I mean, it's like a
really fast downhill.
It's like a descent into the base of the Cowbird, and so Cavalli said she's like gets a little nervous in those like really, really fast moments, and so the positioning was the hardest thing. And I found it super interesting to see on the Disney was driving into the bottom of the climb, actually. Anna Henderson on the front and Corinne right behind her. But yeah, when they hit the bottom of the climb, Ashley was just really poorly positioned. And so she had double effort to even get up to that point. But I think, like, it looked like everybody was pretty cracked when they hit the top of the climb after Van Vleuten.
As you would be following that, but Riley found something a little extra. She saw an opportunity.
I think we all saw the same thing though, in like, Ashley could have done something better, and it just like trying to put your finger on what that was. And I think there was just like, the Swiss cheese model of failure, like that there was one thing that went wrong, and then the next thing, and then the next thing. There was just a series of very small mistakes that all added up to that break not bringing back Cavalli. Of course, Cavalli was on a ripper day, like great timing for sure, but to hold the power for another K and a half to the finish is impressive. But I don't know, like I saw something similar to what you're trying to say, Lauren, too, of like Ashley looked really good up the climb, regardless of her poor positioning at the start. Like as they got to that steep part near the crest, she looked pretty good. And Annemiek looked awful, even though she was probably not feeling pretty good too. But I feel like I can't not ever say that. I'm sorry.
Maybe it's like a whole big bluffing technique that she has, that she always looks terrible, so no one ever knows if she's really good.
She looks like she's fighting her
She looks like a
body.
marionette, you know, like puppets on strings, like
Yeah.
that's what she always
We
reminds me
copped
of.
so much criticism. I think it was last year when I kept talking about her writing style, and I was like, "Is it the candy?"
But why? It's objectively messy. Like, she'd
Yeah.
probably admit the same, surely. Like, no one...
Okay, but you look at her, and then you look at Rihanna Marcus. Holy crap! Rihanna Marcus
Beautiful.
looks like an angel on a bike. She is like, her upper body is like rock solid, and she just like, she looks like she's putting out so much power, and it's just so beautiful to watch her ride a bike. There was one point when she was on the front. I think there was like a little break that went, maybe it was after the Bemmelberg, or it might have been earlier in the race, and she was on the front, and she just looked incredible.
But I think like this is what I was wondering with Ashley is like, does she just look quite good on a bike even though she's going not so good? Like, she looked good up the climb to us, but maybe she was really suffering more than we thought. And then for me, I thought she could have chased harder. It looked like she wasn't going 100% and like just sacrificing her race right at the end there to just go, oh gosh, that we made a mistake, we need to go after this. It just didn't look like that's what she did. But on the other hand, it's like, well, maybe she was, it just didn't look like it. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, from what I was seeing, I was like, Ashley shouldn't have left the road wide open and been looking the other way. Like, you know, rule number 1, stay on one side of the road and look the other way. And then the next thing, react immediately if you're not the lead, like the protected rider. And then the next one, get on the front straight away and just go all in and just not expect anyone to come through with you. So I think just all those little things added up to that break, just, you know, that gap going so quickly and not bringing it back.
Yep.
Point out, I don't know if anyone else noticed, but after the finish, they showed like two of them.
Very briefly. Yeah.
And Demi was saying to Ashley something like, "I know you can do it," or something.
Yeah.
I felt like Ashley, I don't disagree with you guys. She also, like, there was 6 people there, not a single one of them. Which was, I would have expected Leanna Lippert to react a little bit, or Akasha, especially like given the way that those two races are. I feel like Ashley doesn't have the power on a flatter road like that to be able to chase down a move quickly enough. If it had been more road, then yeah, probably. But there just simply wasn't enough road, and Ashley's too small to be able to, not too small, that's not the right way to put it, but too, like, her strength is really on a climb, and that road was flat. And if it had been Chantal Vandenbroek Black or Marlon Russo, then that would have come back, you know, immediately. But she just doesn't have, it's not in her skill set to be able to pull back within 1.7 kilometers something on a flat road.
I don't know, she gets pigeonholed as a climber quite a lot, but she is quite powerful still.
She was Zwift world champion.
Yeah. And she's got a good kick too. Is there any element of like Demi should have maybe jumped on it herself instead of getting on the radio, or do we think that like the onus was on Ashley completely?
I think Demi jumping on the radio at that moment definitely wasn't a great call, because it would have been more of a distraction than like a help, at least for me. Like, if I put myself in Ashley's shoes. Demi wasn't well positioned at all to follow the move. Like, she was on the wrong side of the road, and she had riders in between her following. Like, she couldn't have moved over and moved on it fast enough. And also, just to clarify, I'm not saying she doesn't have power. I'm just saying the road, there wasn't enough road for her power to impact. I think like a lot of the blame can be put on Ashley for not reacting fast enough and looking to someone else to pull it back when she had a teammate in the group and nobody was going to help her work to bring Cavalli back. But I think like there was multiple people who should have jumped on it. Demi wasn't. If you look at the pictures.
And at that point in the race as well, like there's no jumping on the radius, and that's where it needs to be your instinct to understand when you've just gone up a climb like a cowbird, way above, at your VO2 max probably. That sometimes there's not a lot of thinking, but in that moment, we have seen before, there is that point where people sit up because they take a breath and assess the situation. Like, for example, Annemiek wouldn't be expecting 6 riders probably on her wheel at that point. The best thing they could have done is actually just gone straight to the front and kept the tempo high, because probably 8 times out of 10, Demi would win from a group like that. But I guess we can go over and over it again, but we don't know what would have been going through her head in that moment. There's, like Gracie said, so many different things you could have done. And what Gracie's pointed out before, at the end of a really long, hard race, sometimes your brain is just not working, and that instinct to just go, you think a little bit too longer, maybe half a second turns into a second.
But yeah, full credit to Cavalli. Like, as you've all said already, like, timing perfect. She picked the right moment. I love that she had full winter kit on. She was not wearing an aero jersey, and she was in her hoods. Like, she didn't even get in her drops.
She had toe covers on and everything.
It wasn't like a very beautiful attack. It was like very gangly. She said after the race, the reason she still had her leg and like thermal on because last year she got really cold and she was afraid of getting cold and she got it was pretty funny.
This is her biggest win today, right?
I think it's FDJ's biggest win.
Yeah?
Because actually, maybe we need to talk about the fact that the other leaders, well, plural, because they've said they've come in with 3, it's a big 4.
Although we haven't seen the race yet.
I don't know. But yeah, they weren't there, which says a lot about the merits of having multiple leaders, no?
Some teams can pull it off really well. I mean, SD Works can pull it off really well, and Trek can pull it off really well when they have, clear leaders. I feel like they are in a super weird position where they can win a lot of races with Balsamo, and Vanderlecht is riding super well, but they won't commit to either of them in a race where it's not a given that either of them will win. Like, if that makes sense, they'll commit to Balsamo if it's clearly going to come down to a sprint. But in a race like this, like, they didn't really commit to anybody, and Sheeran was hands down the most impressive Trek rider of the day. She was in so many moves, and I think just like spent too much energy, or she maybe would have been able to hang on that group because she was in it for a really long time, and then she only got dropped maybe 300, 400 meters from the top or less. But yeah, there's some teams that can pull it off, and there's some teams that struggle to do so. And I feel like, it says a lot that Cavalli was able to take the biggest win for FDJ they've ever had, and her biggest win when she was hands down the sole leader on the day. Cecily was out with COVID for this race, and Brody was also sick. Brody's not a leader, obviously,
but she's an invaluable domestique for that team as well. And she's shown that she could be. Grace has also got COVID, I think.
So it is super interesting that, just looking at, we kind of gave them a hard time at the beginning of the year and said that we'll see how this goes for them. And I think you can point to this race and you can point to Trofeo Alfredo Binda and say...
And Flanders.
Trofeo Alfredo... Yeah, but Flanders was... but I feel like Trofeo Alfredo Binda more so because it's a little bit of a similar parkour, like in the hills, and also there was like a moment in Binda that I cannot let go of where Cavalli had just attacked and was off the front and me picked his last and
Come on, get that memory going.
And then you could see behind there was a clear gap to Peloton and Sile was attacking. And it was like that super weird moment when Cavalli like heard Sile coming and like went over to the other side of the road super quickly. And then Sile was off the front for a minute, but she got brought back. And that moment is like a moment that I can't let go of because it was such a like what are you guys doing kind of moment. And this was not only was the director in the car when that move went and Marta was the only one in it, he was able to jump on the radio and say, Marta, this is your moment, try, you've got nothing to lose, which Marta said was one of the main reasons that she didn't like think at all and she just attacked as soon as he told her to go.
Yesterday.
He's able to focus solely on her. And if her and Sile had both been in that move, it wouldn't have ended this way.
Well, this is what I was about to say before, like, is that with Binda and other instances where that's kind of happening, it's not, the blame doesn't lie entirely on the riders. Like, in fact, it's possibly more with the directors who are not just kind of putting their eggs in the riders' basket, so to speak, and sort of, just delegating roles.
For sure. I mean, and that's why some teams are better than others, because Trek and SD Works just simply have more experience when it comes to delegating roles and coming up with a team plan. FDJ is a way newer team, and especially super new to the spot that they're in, where they have multiple options to win a World Tour race. They're a tiny team that came from a development team with only French riders and working their way slowly over the years into a World Tour team that has multiple different nationalities on it. It's like a brand new spot for them to be in as of 2020. Like, they've never had this kind of responsibility before. They've never been, before 2019, you probably never would have looked at that team and been like, put them on a riders to watch list. And so they're in this position and it's a new spot for them. But SD Works has had 6 leaders in every race, or 6 potential winners in every race since friggin' 2016.
I think that's one of the big differences, like that the track riders and the SD Works riders, they have nothing to lose because they've already won big races. They just want to win more big races. Whereas if you're in the shoes of Sile and Grace Brown and Marta Cavalli, they haven't won, that many big races yet. And so they're just saving that few percent for themselves when they're racing as a trio or as a duo. And that's what makes a huge difference. And that's where you need that self-discipline as a director or, as a team in team meetings to be like, Sile's turn today, it's Grace's turn next week. And we're just going to keep practicing until we get it right, until we all have nothing to lose. Because I think they're all holding back just a little bit, and that's what loses you races, in my opinion.
Quality was definitely not holding back. That was all. I've been calling you for like 2 years.
Yeah. She gave good post-race interview too. That was really sweet.
This is why I like her so much. Is because the post-race, like, I interviewed her one time and I was like, she's one of my because she just smiles the whole time and she's so Italian and it's just really endearing.
Someone that I wish I could have seen how they went if they were freshish, I should say fresh loosely, going into that last climb was Elena Sierra. I think she is still one of the most underrated riders in the peloton, and I think she should also be a leader for Movistar as well as Emma and Annemie. And she can almost be better in some ways. Like, she won't be a mountain climber and a pure sprinter, but man, she has won pure sprints in the past and she can climb, and she's got some pretty
good power by the look of it that I would have liked to have seen if she could have made it into that final group if she wasn't in the breakaway earlier.
After crashing as well.
Yeah.
With Emma and another teammate. There's like 3 of them that all crashed together. Ah yes, this is my sneaky peek in theory.
She's had a slower start to the track. Emma Northgard.
She said we can call her, I don't know.
I can't think. She's got the double name.
Yeah, Emma Cecile.
It's let's not go into Danish names, shall we?
Anyway.
Very
Yeah, she's had a bit of a quieter start to 2022 compared to last year. She was on the podium almost every race.
She did have COVID earlier. Kind of ripped
It is, yeah.
She did also win the Samin.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, I mean, like 2 months ago.
Well,
The screen's gone by.
we've got, 2 weeks left of this period, the classic.
Then we can all have a nice lie down for a minute. Okay? Please?
Like a week, and then we have the Brazilian and Durban's. But then it's like a 2-week break before we have the race.
And you have your hands full, Abby.
Yeah, but I'm determined to keep it.
Good. Remember, baby Baker is welcome on the podcast. There are a few moments with baby Harry.
As far as Interval, is there anything else you want to talk about? I mean, we talked a little bit about how strong all the breakaways were. Special shout out to Lizzie Golden, who had an incredible race for a while. She was, not only was she in a move at one point in the later stages of the race, she also was one of the attackees in between the Dumbler and the Dumbler on the final lap, which was just awesome to see. I think we all know her. So we are biased, and she's had like quite a tumultuous career. She was on Biscaya last year, not a great experience, I think, and now she's back on a British team on a full podium. It was really impressive to see her up there when the race was on.
She is someone else, I think, that looks beautiful on a bike.
Yes, she also, like, when she was in between the peloton in that group, and I was thinking, like, yeah, she just looked like she was, like, clearly she was doing really hard, and I was like, Liz, mate, put the power down a bit. Oh, right, you are. You just look really good. But I'm glad you did that bit, because I was straying, every single week now, I'm straying so far into this, like, incredibly biased territory. So I saw it on the run sheet, and I was like, she put it on the run sheet. I don't have to say it.
No, but
Liz, dog.
She's definitely a rider who has just been slowly stepping it up, but this year is just taking it to another level. She's really getting to the pointy end of the race, which is really exciting, not only for her, but for the team.
It shows what being in a good environment, like a comfortable, like just a good team environment can do. Like, she's obviously around people that she knows, that she is friends with, and yeah, makes a big difference.
Support.
Yeah.
Because I think that team has done a lot of work that, you know, for such a small team, they were doing a lot of things that a lot of the big teams weren't doing. I think they've got a team psychologist. They even have a program where they focus, I think, on women's menstrual cycles as well. Something to do with that.
While we're doing shout-outs, Paulina Royackers, she should get one too.
She's got to work on
Still.
fitness, I think.
Yeah.
But she's new to Canyon Strand, one of the many new riders that they picked up. And I thought that Canyon Strand had a pretty good race. I mean, it didn't end the way that they had been hoping. I think Kasha's still working her way back from COVID and having to take like 10 days off or whatever. But between Paulina in the break, Soraya Paladin on the attack in the end of the race, and Elise Shabby setting up Kasha to be in a great position on the climb for the final time. We give them a lot of crap for not really working well together, but it seemed like they did a better job. And then it was Kasha didn't have the kick in the end. The sprint for buddies, yeah, 4 of them in like almost a photo super close, and then Tasha and Anamik were kind of right there as well. If you're watching it on TV, it looked really, really close. And then the photo finish, it wasn't as close, but it was still.
I think Bollering came from pretty far back. I don't think she positioned herself very well in the sprint, but she was just better, luckily.
Yeah, I feel like we, as a half Australian podcast, we have to shout out Spratty, because she had such a rough year last year and is still working her way back from the iliac artery endofibrosis. And she's not been the Spratty of old that we know and love, but seeing her on the attack, I mean, not only was it one of the only times that we've seen Bike Exchange in the race, in a World Tour race so far this year, it was also just great to see it was her, and that maybe she didn't have the legs in the final climb, but she still made the best of the race by going through. And then Alexandra Manley actually, I think, ended up finishing pretty well behind them. Yeah. But yeah, I was really excited to see Spratty.
Yeah, I mean, we can't underestimate the recovery from that surgery. I think that's something she knows, and she's so experienced that I'm sure in the second half of the year, she's already said publicly she has ambitions for the Tour de France Femmes Avec Zwift. Did I say right? Yeah. And the World in Wollongong.
And it's also quite vulnerable to race how she's racing, because it's easy when you're not feeling yourself and you're not as strong as you'd like to be to just, take a back seat, I should say, in some of these big races, and not, go on the offensive and be in breakaways or try, because it makes you vulnerable. It makes people go, oh, what is she doing? Or it might not look good on TV, or it might not feel good because you're being judged from the peloton. So I think big up to her, because she wants some heavy races in her legs, and she's going out and being proactive about it rather than just being, just another number in the peloton. And I think that's actually kind of a challenging thing mentally to do. So yeah, good on her. I think that.
Especially when you won races.
When you've been around the people looking over their shoulder at, and now.
Well, hopefully the Tour de France Femmes Avec Zwift comes in so we've got a few months to build up to that. So, all right, we're talking about Paris-Roubaix.
Yes.
It's very exciting. Paris-Roubaix is coming. The second ever women's Paris-Roubaix is on Saturday. Do not make the same mistake I made. It's on Saturday. Remember, this is on Sunday. Remember, this is on Saturday. It's great if you want to watch 2 days of bike racing back to back. It's not great, in terms of viewer numbers and stuff, because I don't think we mentioned the numbers of people watching Flanders for the women was massive.
On that topic, talking about viewers and fans, I did mention last week that Lotte Kopecky has become a household name. I did a ride yesterday with a bunch of, mammals, actually.
Mammal is a state of mind, Lauren, as well as a descriptor.
Thanks for that, Amy.
Just to clarify.
But someone had mentioned that I was a former pro, which I actually hate, because then they feel the need to ride like heroes when I just want a social ride. But moving on from that.
That's mammal behaviour.
Every guy, we were rolling turns at 2 kilometres on the left, 2 kilometres on the right, and I was pretty impressed to see them do this sort of formation. So I got to talk to a lot of different guys, and it was all men except for one other woman, in a group of say 25 or 30, and they all just wanted to talk about how great women's cycling was now, and the fact that I had stopped too early, because now we could actually watch women on TV, and it was really exciting, and they knew names of the riders, particularly all the Dutch riders being our neighbours, and I just thought that was really cool. So
in conclusion, Lauren's come back.
Well, my father-in-law did ask me that yesterday, but when will you come back? I don't think that would make it hard.
It's made such a huge difference in live coverage. It makes such a huge difference.
Which actually, one thing we maybe then failed to mention, or 40k or equal prize money at Amstel. Better spent on a bit more live coverage. Also, Dutch TV getting an extra like hour. What's that about? Don't know. Why? How? I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of like, you know, maybe that lies with GCN and that, like not buying rights for that extra bit, or I don't know. But
I feel like GCN is pretty good about if there's live coverage up for grabs, they will take all of it.
in which case, this is what was a bit confusing. Is like there was that extra hour of coverage, just only in Holland or in Belgium if you've got a VPN.
I feel that when it comes to the like full rights of live coverage and stuff, it's just
I don't understand it. I can't.
Either way, performative. We've had this discussion a million times, but performative equal prize money not as valuable as extra coverage. Anyway,
Speaking of coverage, how much do we get on Saturday before we dive into this?
I think we get a good amount because the live coverage starts at 1:15. 1:15 Central.
And Amy, where are you going to be?
where am I going to be?
On the ground.
Hell yeah, I'm going to be there.
On the ground for
Everywhere?
Everywhere, mate. I'm omnipresent. Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, because it's on a Saturday and it's going to, the Sundays, you know, actually, the Saturday will still be really good because people camp out for these events. Like for Flanders, people started camping 2 weeks before just to get a spot.
Pretty
So
well. I mean, I'm not camping for the record.
maybe I'll try to get out there.
Yeah, do it.
Good news, I'm pretty sure that we will get to see all sectors in coverage.
All sectors.
I'm pretty
Big is
sure.
true.
I'm pretty sure that the broadcast will start approximately 34k into the race, and that's before the first sector.
Well, that's much better than last year.
the race this year. Just really quick on the course for the race. It's 8 kilometers longer, but it's only because they do one more circuit of the start town of Danang. So they do 124 kilometers. The first cobble sector comes after about 43 kilometers-ish. Check cyclingtips.com, whatever your website, for a more extended preview later this week. But this is just what I screwed up in the recording. There's roughly 30 kilometers of cobbles, including 2 5-star sections of cobbles that are the Mountain Favela at 49 kilometers to go, and the Hereford, the Labyrinth, with 17 kilometers to go. So the course is exactly the same as last year, but with an extra circuit around the start town, and is probably why we, they don't have to show that part. We don't have to see those circuits. The racing is really going to kick off on that first cobble sector. That was where Lizzie went solo last year and then rode all the way to the finish by herself. Looking back on it, maybe not the most exciting race, although the fight to chase her down and behind was pretty exciting to watch. But if you like listen to past episodes, it's hypocritical to say like a lot full race attack was like really exciting to watch because we've been critical of that in the past. But that was the first ever Paris-Roubaix. And we're going into the second ever Paris-Roubaix, where it's going to be the same course, and the riders actually have an idea of what to expect. The weather might be good. Like, there might not be any rain, which will make a huge difference on the cobbles. So it's very exciting. I'm very excited.
Looking at the time schedule, actually, I think that's true. Like if it starts at like, say the coverage starts at 1:30, which I just realised that this is like live show or whatever like this one. So it would come on like just after we pass through Danang again. So as the race like actually starts, so that's like 3 hours of coverage. So look out for me.
Very exciting. That's basically start to finish coverage. It's like start of the excitement.
What am I doing on the ground then? I'm actually wearing and watching it.
Streaming on the weekend, I guess, as well.
Probably, yeah. Also, the sun, guys. I know I'm in Belgium right now, and it's in France,
You
but
brought the sun.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm starting to think that maybe it does follow me because every time I come to Belgium, it's sunny.
You can stay here then.
Which I'm just feeling like I've been told lies about weather here. Lauren, you stop being dramatic. It's always sunny in Belgium.
I'm gonna bring the rain to Spain then.
Lauren has left the chat.
So I went over the course a little bit. Should we talk like a little bit about the favorites, and then we can call it a day?
Wait.
Who were the favorites?
Can't look past. Becky has openly said that this is another race that she wants to win this year. Van Dijk is eyeing this one off too.
If Marianne Vos is actually, like, she's been a bit,
She sat out and so bold just to focus on her.
which is what she said, but then it's like, she has been a bit iffy lately. She's been ill in that, so it's hard to say.
We just talked about this, but I feel like SC Works is going in with multiple options because Chantal van den Broek is really good at Flanders. It's a type of race that suits her very well, but also Marlon Russo is just like lying right now. And the difference between Marlon Russo and Van Dijk, because they're so similar, is that, no offense to Van Dijk, I love her as a human, but her bike handling is really not on par with Russo, based on how she descended at Trofeo Alfredo Binda. Like, she's incredible at handling the bike. It's really impressive for someone who's just started racing 3 years ago. So I feel like Russo is my pick for the win, especially after all the work she's done for the team this year. I mean, I think they'll have Kentucky as a very, very good option, but maybe Russo will get a little bit of freedom to try to go for it. But I feel like I would love to say that Van Dijk is a favorite, but she just simply is not great at positioning or handling. And it's such a technical race, especially with the Carrefour to Labra, 17 kilometers to go. Like that's a really hard sector of problems. And if you can't get over that in the first or in the front, there's not a lot of room to rectify the situation.
I don't know, I wouldn't say Van Dijk isn't a good bike handler though.
She said before the race last year that she did a recon and she like cried, she hated it.
Yeah, but maybe just more nervous on this sort of...
Yeah, I don't know.
This is a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like Abby's got a bit of inside information.
Yeah.
Someone here.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that, but I think my view of Van Dijk is so clouded by her amazing strength that I forget that maybe she's not as confident in other areas. And I think you are right, actually. I think the nerves get the better of her sometimes, to be fair, and that translates into poor positioning or bike handling. So I think overall she's quite good.
She likes to hang out at the back a bit. So I've noticed that. She definitely hangs at the back too much. She's incredibly strong, so she can pull herself to the front. But we have seen her get caught out in those few moments because she has been too far back, which, I think is what.
I was going to say that I used to do that too, but not for truth.
I mean, there's not many riders who can sit at the back and then just put on the turbo and get back to the front and then still be in the race. If that makes sense.
She attacks at poor moments in the race. She's so strong. But for example, Flanders, she attacked at 60 feet.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I was puzzled by that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like it's really hard to look past this.
I would put money on, I'm going to put money on Chantal van den Broek Black as one of the favourites from my pick. And give me a moment, I'll keep thinking about it.
I agree with Lauren, actually. For some reason, I've been thinking about the last couple of weeks, and I think Chantal is high on the list for favourites other than Lotta.
She was itching to work for herself.
Like, people forget Chantal has won a lot of the big races. Like, she's ticked those boxes.
In the world.
Yeah. Yeah, she's won Flanders. She's won Ghent Wolverhampton. Is that right? As well. She's won Drenthe. She's won. Yeah. She's
won Strada.
So okay, I'm going with her.
And she's in I think she's in career best form at the moment.
Apart from SC Works, I feel like Trek is in a rough spot. They've got obviously Balsamo, but not sure how she'll. I mean, in theory, it's a black horse. So see how she can handle in the race. They're bringing back Lisa Longorini, who's been super sick. So she was obviously third last year, but on much different form. So it'll be interesting to see what Trek does.
Is Shirin on the start line?
I would assume that she would be.
She's not on a provisional start list I'm looking at,
But I think Hosking is on the start line, right?
For Movistar, I feel like Arlene Sierra is to be a factor in this because she's, like Gracie said, she's so underrated. She's also just incredibly strong. And for a race like this, positioning is super important. She's got that sprinter instinct, so she's good at positioning. And they won't have on like 90% sure if we get this race again after last year. So they have the opportunity to kind of focus on Arlene Sierra and on Emma, depending on how they're feeling today. Jumbo-Visma's got Boss, but they also have Anna Marcus, who's just riding incredibly well right now. I feel like
Oh, I was just looking at the original start list and I was about to chuck in some underdogs. Well, I went straight to Balfour, obviously. And we've got Sylvia Persico, Crossrider, very strong, and Dara Consonant.
What about from Kenya? Do we have? I think Sarah Roy's targeting this race, but
who's targeting the race? Okay.
I would love to see Sarah up there. There's not a ton of backing to like
numbers.
There's not enough.
Yeah, she's had a quiet start to the year, but you can tell that she's, in pretty good shape. Maybe just hasn't had much luck or in certain roles. So I'd be interested to see how she can go if she got a green light in a race like this, because she's more than capable of being at the pointy end.
Yeah, she's got incredible power. Like when you look at this race, if she's positioned well and she believes in herself, then she can do something pretty special here.
Bastianelli is also knocking up. She's fifth last year. She's had a race start to the season.
And what are FDJ gonna do?
Is the question.
Who can say?
I wonder if Grace will be back.
She wanted to be, but that will be the question. She'll be out of quarantine by then?
I mean, she has the power. This is the thing about this race, is we don't have years and years to look back and be like, this is how the race was won. We only have 1 year, and it was not like a throwaway year, but it was just such a... It's a race that just cannot be replicated because of the weather for the first edition. And also the first edition, so there's nothing to point back and be like, okay, so this is the type of rider we're looking at. These riders have done well in the past. We're like almost going into a design for the second year in a row, if that makes sense. Which makes it even more exciting, because we could have just named a ton of riders that are not going to factor at all.
That's why you have to watch and find out.
But Gracie, you're commentating again, right?
Yep, I'll be commentating on SBS in Australia.
Yes.
So use your VPNs to pretend you're in Australia.
But also we don't condone the use of VPNs officially. So we don't get into it.
It's like no one who would get
Mate, you never know.
But to be fair, she is the best.
That's
Till Abby and I start a car.
It was nice. I enjoyed it. I got 3 hours of break in my ears the other weekend.
Alright, so Paris coming up on Saturday. Check cyclingtips.com for a preview. And also, Provence Beetle on Wednesday. A nice little midweek seasoner. That was the race last year that Ruth Winder won in a like photo finish.
Where Demi Vollering learned not to celebrate early.
Yeah.
Yes. So that one also has live coverage, so make sure to check that out in the midweek. And that's it from us. Thank you so much for listening to the Freewheeling Podcast. If you're riding on Zwift right now, hope you've had an awesome almost 1 hour ride with us today, and that we kept you entertained for your entire tour of Okay. Thank you so much, and we'll be back next week.
Without you, I'll be so incomplete. So beautiful when you ride here with me. You make everything okay. Feels like paradise when you're here. You make everything okay.
Heaven found that now you light up the sky. Tell me your mind, you what you trying to say tonight. My mind. Do you like we discovered of gravity? Give me like my philosophy. So free. You are the one, the one, the one, the one. The one, the one, the one, the one, the one. To hold me, make me lose my mind. Right now, you are the one, the one, the one, the one. And you from the start. Seduce me, hug me, touch me, take me to the stars. Okay, burns me like fire. Oh, my multiplier, future desire. Oh, 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 you're my future desire. You're my future desire. You're my future desire. Tú me entiendes y hago lo que sea. Si es de noche la luna destella, en tus ojos sé lo que deseas. Siempre es algo más. Paso a paso estamos evitando. En el cosmos nada está sonando. Solo siento como tú palpitas cuando estás aquí. You are the one, the one, the one, the one. The one, the one, the one, the one, the one. To hold me, make me lose my mind. Right now, you are the one, the one, the one, the one. And you from the start. Seduce me, hug me, touch me, take me to the stars. Oh yeah, burns me like fire. Oh my multiplier, future desire. Oh, 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 you're my future desire.